What's up? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, and I'm here for the sports news. And here yesterday, something phenomenal happened with women's college basketball, and women's basketball in general, but most definitely women's college basketball. You had the Iowa State Hawkeyes versus LSU Tigers. Now, we all know women's college basketball has been dead for the past 20 years. And the WNBA is just a dead dog with all four legs up. But there was a racial element yesterday in the game with LSU and the Iowa State Hawkeyes. Now, there's a lot of controversy about this. Why? I have no idea, because race sells. This has been the greatest thing for women's college basketball I've ever seen. You have a 6-foot-tall white girl who's coming off screens, shooting threes like Steph Curry, and pulling up from 40 from the logo. Yeah, and she played for an all-white team. You had basically an all-black team in LSU. Angel Reese and company. She formerly played at Maryland, was transferred, got an NIL deal down at LSU. And the coach Mulkey, who was formerly at Baylor, is now at LSU. And in their second year, they was able to turn it around and win the national championship. Now, in this clip, Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark. No big deal. But in the media, what happened was people start overreacting. Obviously, a lot of white people, they don't want to admit we was rooting for Iowa because it was an all-white team, and Iowa had the National Player of the Year. She just happened to be a little white girl. And she is fantastic. What a hell of a shooter and fun to watch. But instead of white people admitting that, it started manifesting itself in other ways, coming out in other ways that you can tell was a little racial. You had the man who owns Barstool. What's his name? The man who owned Barstool Sports, David Portnoy. He said the lady was a piece of shit. Now, we all know a piece of shit is a person who's like a rapist, a pedophile. A piece of shit is a person who would kill a whole family. A piece of shit is a lowlife, a scumbag, a person who use drugs, go on a binge, and leave their children at home. That's a piece of shit. But because he was rooting racially, and he probably was drinking, he got online and said how he truly felt. Keith Olbermann, supposed super liberal, got on the internet and said, she's a fucking idiot. Come on now, Keith. That's going over the top. You can tell behind the scenes how hard white people was rooting for Caitlin Clark. That was plainly obvious. And is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happened was they won't admit that. And then you have to make a fool out of yourself by saying something as ridiculous as David Portnoy said. Listen to what he said.
I fundamentally deny, and I think you're basically lying if you're saying what Caitlin Clark did and Angel Reese did are the same thing. They're not. I like trash talking. If you hit a big shot in the moment, or you're talking in the moment, back and forth, and you do this, or whatever, you talk, I don't care. That is not what Angel Reese did. Angel Reese, they're up 15 points. We have a side-by-side. She followed her.
So now what he's doing now is white explaining. He's arguing semantics. If you celebrate, which Caitlin Clark did all tournament, she talked her shit as well as she should have. If I was hitting shots like that, you couldn't shut me up. But when you talk all that shit, it creates a lot of vitriol around you, and people really want to beat you. So when they finally get up on you, they're going to punish you. They're going to make sure that you know that you lost, because she got a lot of national coverage, as well she should have. But you have to understand how desperately people want to beat you now. And when you talk your shit, you don't then get to dictate how much shit somebody else talks, or they didn't do it exactly how she did it. Get the fuck out of here, David. You're full of shit and you white explaining. Why, I don't know. Just say, man, I was rooting for the white girl. I was hoping she'd win. But calling the black girl a piece of shit is ridiculous. We know what pieces of shit are. And she's not it. She's a college basketball national champion, one of the best players she's had. I think she has the most double-doubles in NCAA history in one season. She has a lot of things going for her. And she's in college. Stop the cap. She's not a piece of shit. So that's what really fires people up. When you say shit that's just that ridiculous. But let me let him finish out.
Fundamentally deny. And I think you're basically lying if you're saying what Caitlin Clark did and Angel Reese did are the same thing. They're not. I like trash talking. If you hit a big shot in the moment, or you're talking in the moment, back and forth, and you do this, or whatever, or you talk, I don't care. That is not what Angel Reese did. Angel Reese, they're up 15 points. We have a side-by-side. She followed her after the game was over, doing this to her, doing this. Find me one example in any sport.
Listen to me. Who cares if you pointed at your ring finger and waved your hand in your face? She followed her and hunted her down like she was in a deep, dark alley and she was about to whoop her ass. Stop it, David. Stop the cap, Dave. It's not that big of a deal. Is it something that most coaches would allow or want you to do? No. But in the grand scheme of things, this is ant piss. This is water to a well. This is a banana to a monkey. This is nothing in the grand scheme of things. He's upset because the white girl lost. And maybe he was betting on the white girl with the upset too, on top of that. But yeah, David is ridiculous.
Anybody, after somebody wins a championship, confetti coming down, not a close game, and find me a player stalking the best player on the other team. It does not exist.
When you say stalking, that's just, she followed her a little bit. So what she did was because when she was behind her, she couldn't see her because she kind of had her back turned, Caitlin did. So she just made sure she got in front of her and made sure she saw what she was doing. She wanted to give her the John Cena, you can't see me, and she wanted to let her know, I got the ring.
It does not happen. If a man did that, he would be called classless, and nobody would be saying anything.
Well, he's disingenuous because he didn't just say the motherfucker was classless. He said she was a classless piece of shit. And he know that was over the top, but he's trying to stand on some shit that just holds no knowledge. But look, as far as this game go, it was fantastic and great for women's college basketball. You basically got an NBA score. I think it was like 105 to 85. I mean, they were shooting threes all game, both teams. Now, for women college basketball to take the next step, I think that something that starts to happen. Now, I'm putting my tinfoil kufi on this. What I'm saying is alleged. And this is just one of my theories. I think in America, they've started to let transgenders into women's sports. That part is not alleged. We know that's factual. We see what transgenders in women's swimming, track and field, so on and so forth. What I think is happening is they had a movie right here called Joanna Man. Now, it was just a comedy about a man who played as a girl and ended up playing in the WNBA and played professional sports, women's basketball against other women. Now, at the time when the movie came out in 1999, we looked at it as a joke. Now, going forward, we starting to realize this shit is real. They really letting people who were born as men compete in women's sports. Now, how could you take women's basketball to the next level? By letting men, by letting people who were born as men compete in women's sports. Now, this is alleged. I think that this is already happening. I'm talking about it in college and in the WNBA. I think there's already transgenders in there. I think part of the reason why they're pushing this because I think eventually they know people are going to find some of these things out. There's no doubt about it. Am I alleging that all these girls is trans? No, I'm not saying all these girls are trans or none of that shit. But what I am saying, you cannot convince me that some of these people who are in college basketball, some of these girls, and some of these people in the some of these girls in the WNBA weren't born men. I ain't saying all. I'm not saying 50%. I'm not saying 25%. But I'm saying there's about 10% of these people. I'm a little suspicious. I'm not gonna say no names, and I ain't gonna say who. I'm gonna just let you look on the screen. I ain't saying Angel Reese, most definitely. She looks like a woman to me. But there's other people, like BG, like CC. You got BG and CC. I don't know. I see a huge Adam's apple. I've seen pictures on CC. And you see BG down in the corner. Look, my eyes are telling me. I know what the movies are doing. That's predictive programming. A lot of times we see these movies, we think it's just comedy or satire or this, but we not knowing that they tell the truth in movies and TV shows. And they lie to you on the news and create narratives. So when you look at this and you see this, I begin to scratch my head a little bit. But, back to this. I just want to throw that out there. But back to this. This is what all this hoopla is over.
Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
And she called her a garden tool. Not that big of a deal. Trash talk is supposed to get under your skin. It's supposed to make you upset. It's supposed to inspire you to come back the next season and come back and win a championship. Now, next year, this is going to be huge. You know these two teams are going to play in the regular season. There's no doubt about it. And the eyes that's on the game are going to be tremendous. There are going to be a few more players that probably commit to Iowa that ends up going to Iowa for a few new recruits. They have a little more talent. And then you have LSU probably coming back basically with the whole team. And hopefully we get another championship game. Or they meet in the Final Four again. It'd be fantastic. But this type of stuff is great for sports. It really is. The racial element always drives sales, viewership, and all of the above. People say that, but when Canelo fight, the Mexicans come out. When Conor McGregor fight, the Irish come out. When Tyson Fury fight, the Gypsies and the British and all them people come out, man. When you get Tank Davis and you get Floyd Mayweather, the Negro comes out. People come out to support and get behind their own people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I think not being able to admit that is probably the biggest problem. You have to be able to admit it. Hey, man, there's racial undertones in this. I'm rooting for my folk because he's one of my people. It is what it is. Not that big of a deal. When white people try to deny, I'm just rooting for the best team because no, stop it. Stop the cap. Yeah, but that was a great game yesterday. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Watch out in the future for the Joanna Mans that's coming, that I personally feel is already there. Allegedly. But, it was a great game. And Caitlin Clark is a fantastic shooter. Yeah, she can shoot from anywhere. But, yeah, I just wanted to go over this clip. Thought I'd give my 2 cents on this story, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. This has been Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel. I'm here for the sports news. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Check the Adam's Apple ride. Peace.